All right, let's get ready to rip. When you go to a tracker facility, it's not about the money in the track. It's about the people. Guys, I don't give a shit about anything but making this hobby better. You don't have to put them into a late model right out of the hit. Put them in a slash. Let them bang around on the bathtubs. All right, guys, thanks again for jumping on. We're going to start this off like always. We're going to start off with the track report, where everybody's at, what I seen. You guys know I watch Live RC a lot. I did make it down to the track this weekend, down to Brad's. Brad put on a good show again this weekend. Good numbers, in my opinion. Did a really good job. So, and I didn't really expect anything else. It's Summer Nationals for him. And as I said last week, Brad does a really good job of getting a show on and doing a good show. So, nothing new there. Track numbers are this. Germantown race over in Danville this weekend, 15 and 30. Jacksonville had theirs, 29 and 68. Leisure Hour High Road, they ran theirs, 12 and 23. 5-Star ran one, 28 and 46. So what we're going to say about those tracks right there, and I didn't include Brad in that, and I'll tell you why at BB Mods. So those tracks raced against Brad's race at BB Mods. And I'm not saying Brad is, what's up, John? I'm not saying Brad's anything but a good track owner. What I'm saying is it's hard to stack. Guys want to go certain places with certain people, and when a group goes, usually they all go. So I think that's why the numbers are kind of low. Brad had 58 drivers and 133 cars. So that's a great number in my opinion. Not the highest of the weekend, but right there with them. So what's up, Albie? Seeing you this weekend. So those tracks are within a couple hours of Brad's. I think guys understand that a bigger show, and I'm not saying anybody's show's smaller or lesser than anybody else's. I'm just saying some of the shows are bigger and guys know they're bigger. And I don't know if there's a fix or if it's fine or whatever. If guys are happy with that number, I would be pretty happy with, honestly, the Jacksonville and 5-star-ish. The number I'd like to be, 50-ish is a really good number. When you're racing up against a race like Brad's. But yeah, that's what that is. So then you get out a little further. Layton race this weekend. They had 51 and 84. Attitude race today. That's where Jason just said he's coming back from. That's a 65 and a 144 being the highest that I checked on this weekend. So Aaron doing it like he always does it up there. And I'm gonna talk about that just a little bit probably about attitude. And I haven't done the research enough to know 100%. And if somebody's on here that can tell me, that'd be great. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Thunderdome also ran a race, the JDR Legends Classic this weekend. 61 and 103 on carpet. So that was cool to see. I like the guys at JDR. I like them guys up there. So that's good that the Thunderdome got some carpet racing in too. So all right, guys, let's get the question of the week. Question of the week is this. If it doesn't state that it's illegal to make a certain adjustment, can you make that adjustment and still be legal to race if they catch you in the end doing it? So that is my opinion on that. Is that's the gray area, guys. That is where the gray area comes in. So you have to read the rules, and most tracks really close, because a lot of them at the end of them say, if it's not in this rule package, it cannot be done. If it doesn't say that, in my opinion, that's kind of the gray area. So obviously the big stuff that they check is toe adjustment, motors, ESCs, tires, wings, rear wing to see if it's height. And then you get into the grayer areas, right? Some people don't put in their rules anything on the body besides the wing. So if that happens, then like rake, positioning of the body, my opinion, if they don't put it, it's a gray area and you're racing. But if at the bottom of the rules it says, if it does not say this in this rules package, you cannot do it. That's my opinion. What's everybody think of that? Put it in the comments. How do you guys feel about that? Everybody always talks about the gray area. I don't think you're going to, if you get caught doing it when you're at that point, show me in the rule book where it is. And that's a drag racer in me, guys. Honestly, there's a lot of guys that do that questionable in every form of racing, but in the gray areas are the gray areas. I enjoy the gray area. I know a lot of guys live in the gray area. So a guy might make an adjustment that nobody thinks about. And if he gets caught doing it, as long as it doesn't say it in the rule book, I don't think it's a problem. So that's my opinion on it. What's anybody else got anything on? Okay. All right. Well, we'll roll. That's the question, and I think that's a good question. I think you just have to read the rules real close. What up, Scuba? Good racing yesterday, buddy. Down at Brad's. Good job. Let's get going. Guys, we're going to go into the top of the week. Ryan says, we all do a decent job of policing the rules because we all talk to the track owners and hash things out. Not like NASCAR or something where it's screw you. Agreed. Guys, in the end, Albie says, as long as you're not blatantly breaking the rules, it's fair game. Right. I mean, and to me, blatantly is read the rules and it says that. If it's not stated or mentioned rules, fair game. Agreed. That's where I'm at, guys. How do you think it becomes so innovative? How do you think how do you think rules are made? Rules are made because guys looked at something and said, hey, I can do that, and it's fair game. And then they said, well, it's way too much of an advantage. Now we have to put a rule in for it. Nobody wants to clog up the rules. Nobody wants to make the rules so much you can't race. But, I mean, if it's a big unfair advantage and it's blatant, like you know what they're doing, at some point there becomes a rule for it probably. Right? So, but yeah, and right, back to Ryan's comment, guys, if you are cool with the track owner and not a dick, usually things are worked out. And reality of it is, that's the way it should be. You should be able to work that out with the track owner. Because, guys, we want guys to race. We want guys to have fun. We want it to be competitive. We enjoy having people out. I tell you what, if you're a track owner and you're not a people pleaser, you probably won't be a track owner very long. Track owners want people to have a good time. They want people to succeed and be better week in and week out. And normally in the end of the game, the track owners are the ones putting the rules packages together. So if they make the rules package and you don't abide by it and you're cool with it and you'll either make the change, don't make a scene and be a dumbass, or don't be a dumbass in the first time with your rule breaking, then you're probably going to be okay. Tommy said there has to be some level of freedom so racers can try stuff and keep in this while keeping in the spirit of the class. Agreed. Jason says grinding tires isn't mentioned in any rules, and if a guy does it, and kills the field, is that legal? Nothing mentioned in the rules about tire tread depth. Jason, I agree. There's nothing in the rules. How could you be in trouble for that? I don't think you can be. The thing that happened when we ran the mini mod rules, there is a statement in there about tread depth. Okay, so if there's no rule about tread depth, run it. I mean, I don't know what to say. It says it on the sidewall. In my opinion, I think there should be some kind of tread on the side of the tire, you know, like on the edge where we can tell it was something. But like a set of sprinters that are bald to nothing, they're fast sometimes. How can you say that's illegal? There's no rule about tread depth. I say run it. Here. Rick Taylor says, I run aluminum battery holders due to the reason that if I use the stock battery holder, it won't allow me to use my battery. Yet real estate's no aluminum parts except for shock caps. And the aluminum holder doesn't give me an advantage. Oh, yeah, slash street stock, yes, I believe that does. If that says it, then you can't, right? But if it doesn't, I was talking about maybe buggy street stock or something like that. Rick, Rick, that kind of depends, too, on what track you run. There is another rule out there about that says something about aluminum parts, but I don't know, or upgraded parts. But if it says no aluminum parts allowed except for shock caps, I don't think you should run that. My opinion. Let me look that up real quick. But there is a rule at the very end of the rules on slash street stock also that says something about aluminum parts, and guys have got around some rules with it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah. Jason said, if I could get ball tires to hook on your track, you bet your ass I'd be running them. Yeah. Agreed. I mean, guys, I think it makes it racy at times. You know what I mean? Like, but say Jason goes out there and races one weekend and gets that grip enough to where he can get that around, everybody's going to find out about it and they're going to be doing it. I'm pulling rules up here real quick just for shits and grins, guys. And those of you that had questions on my rules, I am the TRX modified class will have its own group again. I forgot to do it last time I did them. So the only rule that's going to get you guys in on this deal is at the very bottom of most people's rules. It says, all parts that Traxxas make for the two-wheel drive electric slash are allowed. Now, it does state, I believe, no aluminum parts. But if Traxxas makes it, how do you get away with that? Just saying. Yeah, aluminum belt cranks allowed too, yeah. Belt cranks and shock caps, guys. That's the one. That's what everybody runs. So, yeah. So, otherwise, here's my suggestion. Ask your track owner if you think it's not legal before you put it on the track. That's the best way to keep your head above water. Nobody bitching, the track owner not mad at you. That's the best way, in my opinion, to do that. Okay? Anybody got anything else? Rick says the aluminum shock caps blow off easy. Yeah. Well, we don't have as much problem. I've never run aluminum on anything of mine, but I think early on they were breaking them a lot. I think that's why that started from. Okay. All right, guys, let's rip. Let's get into the topic of the week. So question week was good. Thanks for the input back into it. The topic of the week is what makes a... Okay, let me see if I can... Hang on, let me see if I can fix it real quick. Come on, phone. There we go. All right, let's see how that does. Next week, hopefully, we'll be fixed, guys. The question week is what would what makes a dirt oval race, a good show? To elaborate a little bit, what makes you want to go to that track, and what is it? What makes it happen? Scuba says friends. I agree with Scuba a lot. So here's my little take on it, guys. And then I got another question at the end, and then we'll start opening up. So here's some of the ideas I came up with. What makes the show good? Does it take 150 cars? Does it take a big payout? Does it take the fastest groove, the fastest track? Is that where you're going every time? Or are you taking the one that gives you the best track to race on with multiple grooves? Or is it the best racing in general, whether it be a really good groove or just good racing? Or is it your friends and your RC family where they go? Or is it a ton of giveaways and raffles and prizes, door prizes, that kind of thing? That's the things that I wondered when I made the video on Friday of how that is. As I said earlier, guys, if you're in this deal as a track owner, you want people to have the best time they can. Jason says competitive competition, and Jeff says good friends and clean racing. And Brian Munchman says the driver makes a good show just as much as the track owner promoting it and makes it fun for the drivers. I agree with all of those. Guys, I don't know that there's a 100% this is the way it is. Hang on just a second, guys. My food's here. Sorry, guys. I got food delivered. So I don't know that that's where it is. You know, I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm a track owner and I don't know. Rick says good, hard, clean racing. And that's both, in my opinion, that's both driver and track owner involved in that, right? Takes them both. Brian says, by drivers, I mean clean, close racing. I agree. I think that's big. But I also see that there's a bunch of people, I see a bunch of people traveling. And that's really what got me thinking, guys. All these people are traveling all over to race, meaning Indiana guys going to Illinois, Illinois guys going to Indiana, Illinois guys going to Michigan, Illinois guys going to Iowa, Wisconsin, back and forth. We were at Brad's this weekend. I know for a fact there was Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin for sure there, maybe Iowa. All right, so here we are. So what does it take? I think Ryan said something about the track supposed to give you the best groove you can. That might not be everything, but that's the best it is. Yeah, and I think the racers can make. I think racers can make a big impact on that, right? I think a racer can tell you how things or adjust how things are. You know, I think a racer can um, put a groove in better than you think, right? That makes a difference too. Yeah, it is. It's tough, Brian. Figuring it all out and getting what you want and making it right. It may take some time. We'll get better. Um, but it takes a bunch of different things. I think, guys. I think that guys worry or guys work for the good track. And if you have a decent or good track or a track that comes around well, I think guys will show up for it. And then the perks on top of that help guys make that decision. If there's two tracks to race at and one of the perks is better one place than it is the other, maybe you go there. Maybe you don't, but that's my thought. Kind of how we did with the, doing food. There's nowhere here to get food. So that's kind of a big reason why I went to doing food also, right? Is because there's nowhere really to get food except for Tom's and then go from there. Rick says drivers can make it good or bad. If they are out, they're just to bash and crash, it's bad, and they want to race clean, it's good. That's right. Josh says I enjoy traveling to different tracks and meeting other racers. Man, that's what I do. I went to BB Mods this weekend, and Rick Taylor says he wants popsicles while he races. There is a difference when you go to other places. What's up, Matt? There's people there that you enjoy seeing. There's people there that are good to be around. That all makes a big difference. He said, Jeff says there's free meals keep him coming back, and Van I says there's not enough toilet paper for the bar food. LOL. Yeah, I'm gonna buy a case at Sam's this week. Marshall says I love the races where it's basically a drag race to checkered at the end. Joe, my wife, and Jeff knows this too because he talked to my wife a bunch this weekend. What's up, Altoff? Thank you for those comments about the food. That's all my wife. It was my idea, and then I shoved it off on her to do it. So, anybody comes down here, the food is all my wife, unless it's bad, and then I did it. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to make a good surface, right? A good racing surface. And I don't know that the fastest is always the one, right? It could be the best, not the fastest. Meaning there's 2 grooves or 3 grooves you can race on, and guys can still get around and make laps and get that done. So that's also a really good thing about it. You know what I mean? If you can get multiple grooves, in my opinion. Now, if you don't, and it's a 1-lane track, that's what it is. Michael said that's why we run the Great Lakes Shootout Series to go to other places other than the crater. Agreed, and I think that's a really good thing. I think that's a really good thing. I think it needs to happen more. We need to find more tracks to be able to do that and work like that. I think that's good. I don't know The only problem I've heard about a series like that is tracks that guys didn't come here, I didn't go there, that kind of stuff. Other than that, Michael says it to go to other tracks and go wheeling on other surfaces. I've said it forever, guys. If you are the best at Kempton Speedway, because I'm here, and you're never going anywhere else, you're a good racer. But are you the best you can be? Probably not. Tracks with character are fun. Tommy, you're right. They are. Jeff says Christina is an awesome cook, but a shout out to Hope Cox. She always brings a tasty dish. Yeah, Hope's good people too. Hope and Ryan help me out a ton, and they do. So it's good. It's good times, man. That's a big part of me. We went to a baseball game today to raise money for the Shriners, just like our next race on August the 23rd. That's what we're going to do it. And we played baseball with these guys for years. They're called the Deep River Grinders. And we played with them for years. And when we did, all this stuff we do at the track is part of theirs. They have a meal after the game. They have, everybody has a nickname. And they really just go out and play vintage baseball with no gloves and a very weird way to raise money this weekend. But they do it all year. They play 25 games a year. So it's a really fun game, and that helps me with what I do now. So understanding, what's up, Ben? Understanding that that's part of it. You know, that's part of the camaraderie. That's part of the fun. That's part of everybody just getting along and having a great time. So, but yeah, I think that's a big part of it. I think the whole fact of guys racing together at a track, and understanding how others are and what happens and blah, blah, blah. I think that's a big part of it. Is that all that does it, though? Is that the thing? I mean, is that what does? So racing is what we're looking for. No matter how we slice this bread, we're looking for racing. I don't disagree with it. I just wonder if there's more, if there's something else there. Is there some other thing that helps get people there or involved? I think a lot of people in this area, there's so many options that a club race is hard to get done. Is that a valid point or no? We have a core group that normally comes out. If they're racing somewhere, I understand it. It doesn't matter to me that much for that. Obviously, I want as many guys out every weekend as we can, just to have fun. Jason says not in Wisconsin. So Jason, you're up that way. Let me ask you this, and I know you just came back from Attitude for a quote unquote club race, which I feel is what he had this weekend at Aaron's. How do I put this? How many tracks are close to Aaron? Ryan thinks, I think us that travel a lot tend to study more about what's going on. I enjoy watching a track use their help to the fullest extent to be efficient and keep the show moving. Different dirt takes different amount of time. Hard work is noticed and appreciated. Jeff Johnson says, very valid point. Ryan, I agree 100% with that. Most people have seen me around a lot lately, guys. I have been traveling this year more than ever, trying to figure this deal out. And, yes, there is a lot of hard work. Yes, we see it. As track owners, if you go to another track, you see it. If you are a racer, you should see it. Right? Jason says 4 to 5 tracks. Okay. I would like to check that, because I just wonder how the number of tracks around you really affects your car count on a weekly. And Aaron, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm going up there the 16th, 15th, 16th. I'm going to go up there to Attitude to check that track out because I want to see how it's ran and learn from Aaron. So, and Aaron is a open enough track owner that he will talk to you about it, and that's why I want to go there. I'm learning every time I go to a track. So, but I wonder how much that affects your car count. Honestly, if I were a racer, where's Attitude? Wisconsin. I would call it Central. I don't remember the name. It's a weird name. Attitude RC Raceway. They just raced tonight. They race a lot of Sundays. So, but I think if guys try to pull off too many shows in a week or a month, I think it really kills them. Jason said it'll be packed on the 16th. Yeah, I'm guessing 200 cars probably. Is what I'm guessing. Just a guess because 144 today. But where does that lead us? You know what I mean? I don't think the tracks that I think there's so many tracks around here that at some point some of them aren't going to make it. And I hate to say that. Brian says that place has the best epic car counts in history for Sunday races. Obviously, it's an awesome facility. Ryan, we're gonna find out, buddy. And like I said, I'm a fan of Aaron's. I've been a fan of Aaron's for a while. I just haven't been able to make it up there, and I finally met the guy. So once I met the guy, I got to go see his track. And I talked to him. He said he just built it that way. I think it's just how we get. He runs dry slick on a Sunday, and I don't know that would work up here. Or down here. I don't think, you know what I mean? A dry slick track, I think guys would freak out. They want it better than that, meaning better traction than that. But that's how he built it, and it works. Tommy says multiple healthy tracks is good for the hobby. It's just hard to schedule without conflict. Agreed, Tommy. There's only 4 weekends in a month, and you're going to schedule on top of people. What's up, Mark Larson? You're going to schedule on top of people. And when you schedule on top of people, people get mad. When people get mad, here's what happens. And Altoff, I hope you're still on here. I commend those guys in that group running that Great Lakes series. When you run a series where you run a lot of tracks all around, I think the problem comes in is Billy races at Kempton, and he didn't come to Brad's, BB Mods. So Billy and Johnny didn't go to Brad's, so we're not going to Kempton. I think that happens. Jason says, I have a love-hate relationship with that track because I like high bike tracks, but it challenged me as driver. Agreed. I think everybody should run both styles. Jeff Johnson's on here. Jeff learned a whole lot this weekend at BB Mods because he come from Limestone Indoor High Bike, and now he's learning the rest of it. So it'll make you a better driver no matter what you're at. Like, even as a high bike driver, in my opinion, if you can run both, you're going to be a better driver. Guys, I got to thank real quick, Kempton Crew. They're always got my back. The pub out of Morris, that's another one of my sponsors. BBQ, Brett Von Qualen. Helps me anytime he can. Prince Racing and Double G Construction for helping me this year with some equipment. Jeremy Morris Remodeling. That dude helps me out all the time, supports my track all the time. I got to thank him. And 3 Joyce Photography. So those are my guys that help me out every time that I need help, and support them if you can. We'll see if we can get Carly out here with Three Joys again for the fall brawl. So I'm out, guys. Thanks for the good weekend. We'll see you guys next Sunday with, I don't even know, talking about rules on how we can get tracks together, I think. So we'll see what happens. I'm out. Peace.
Thank you for listening to another great podcast on the RCU radio channel. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends to join the channel for more RC content. RCU Radio. We cover it all.